The shocking death of Houdini, when the impossible became reality. October 31st, 1926. Halloween night. The greatest escape artist the world has ever known lies dying in a Detroit hospital bed. Harry Houdini, the man who escaped from water torture cells, straitjackets, and buried coffins, cannot escape death. But here's the twist that makes this story legendary. His death wasn't an accident. It was murder, sort of. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of history's most bizarre and tragic endings. The death of a man who built his entire career on cheating death itself. Nothing. The man was made of iron. This wasn't just some guy who did card tricks at birthday parties. Harry Houdini was the biggest celebrity on the planet in the 1920s. Think Beyoncé-level famous. Stadiums packed with thousands watching him hang upside down in a straitjacket, suspended 70 feet in the air. Audiences holding their breath as he stayed underwater in locked milk cans for impossible lengths of time. But Houdini's real trick? His body. The man had spent decades conditioning himself to withstand punishment that would hospitalize normal people. He could control his breathing, contort his muscles, and most importantly for our story, he had developed his abdominal muscles into what he claimed was an impenetrable wall, or so he thought. By October 1926, Houdini was 52 years old. Ancient for someone whose career involved being punched, frozen, drowned, and buried alive on a regular basis. His body was breaking down. He had broken his ankle during a performance and was performing through the pain. But Houdini never canceled shows. Never. The escape artist who could get out of anything couldn't escape his own ambition. On October 22nd, Houdini was in Montreal, resting in his dressing room between shows. This is where our story takes a dark turn. A young college student named J. Gordon Whitehead came to visit. Now, Whitehead was known to be a bit odd, socially awkward, maybe a little obsessive. He'd read about Houdini's famous abdominal strength and wanted to see it for himself. Houdini didn't have time. Whitehead starts asking him questions about his stomach muscles. "Can you really take any punch? Are you truly invincible?" Houdini, being Houdini, says yes. Of course he can take any punch. Here's where everything goes wrong. Without warning, and this is crucial, without warning, Whitehead starts punching Houdini in the stomach. Not once. Not twice. Multiple rapid-fire blows. Hard. Witnesses said Whitehead was hitting him with significant force, like he was trying to prove something. Now normally this would be nothing for Houdini. Second, and nobody knew this at the time, Houdini's appendix was already inflamed, possibly even ruptured. Those punches hit a body that was already fighting a silent, deadly battle. Houdini's assistant tried to stop Whitehead, but the damage was done. Houdini, in pain, waved it off. He was Houdini. He'd be fine. He wasn't fine. Over the next few days, Houdini felt increasingly sick. Fever, severe abdominal pain, nausea. His wife Bess begged him to see a doctor. His assistants pleaded with him to cancel the shows. Houdini refused. The show must go on. On October 24th, he took a train to Detroit for his next performance. By the time he arrived, he had a fever of 102 degrees. He was sweating, pale, barely able to stand. A doctor examined him backstage and delivered the diagnosis. Acute appendicitis. You need surgery. Now. You could die. Houdini did the show anyway. Think about that for a second. This man, dying from internal poisoning, performed a full 2.5-hour magic show. Escapes, illusions, physical stunts. The audience had no idea they were watching a dying man perform his final act. After the curtain fell, Houdini finally collapsed. He was rushed to Grace Hospital in Detroit. The doctors operated immediately, but it was too late. His appendix had ruptured. Peritonitis, infection of the abdominal cavity, had spread throughout his body. In 1926, before modern antibiotics, peritonitis was almost always fatal. For a week, Houdini fought. And of course he did. This was a man whose entire identity was built on impossible escapes. Doctors tried everything. Experimental treatments, blood transfusions. Houdini drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes lucid, sometimes delirious. His wife Bess never left his side. She held his hand and whispered to him. Some reports say that in his final moments of clarity, Houdini told her, "I'm tired of fighting." The man who escaped everything couldn't escape this. On October 31st, 1926, Halloween, at 1:26 p.m., Harry Houdini died. His last words allegedly spoken to his brother, "I'm tired of fighting." The irony was not lost on anyone. The master of the impossible died on the most supernatural day of the year. So what happened to Whitehead, the man who threw those punches? Legally? Nothing. Houdini's family considered a lawsuit but ultimately decided against it. The truth is, nobody could definitively prove that Whitehead's punches killed Houdini. Medical experts debated it then, and they still debate it today. Some doctors believe Houdini's appendix was already ruptured before Whitehead ever entered that dressing room, and he would have died anyway. The punches just accelerated the timeline. Others argue that the trauma from those unexpected blows directly caused the rupture. We'll never know for certain. What we do know is that Whitehead lived the rest of his life in obscurity, never speaking publicly about what happened. He died in 1954, taking whatever guilt or justification he felt to his grave. Houdini's death became instant legend. Over 2,000 people attended his funeral. He was buried in Queens, New York, in a casket he'd used as a prop in his shows. Because of course he was. But here's where the story gets even stranger. Before he died, Houdini made a pact with his wife Bess. He'd spent years debunking spiritualists and mediums, exposing them as frauds. But he promised Bess that if there was an afterlife, if it was possible to communicate with the dead, he would send her a message. They agreed on a secret code that only they knew. For 10 years, Bess held seances on the anniversary of Houdini's death, waiting for his message. It never came. On Halloween 1936, exactly 10 years after his death, Bess held a final seance. When Houdini didn't appear, she turned off the candles she'd kept burning for him and said, "10 years is long enough to wait for any man." Even in death, Houdini's greatest escape remained impossible. So that's the story of how the greatest escape artist in history met his end. Not from a death-defying stunt, not from a failed trick, but from a college student throwing unexpected punches and a ruptured appendix. It's a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous moments in life aren't the ones we prepare for. They're the ones that catch us with our guard down. What do you think? Was Whitehead responsible? Or was Houdini's death just a tragic coincidence? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history's darkest mysteries, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and whatever you do, don't let strangers punch you in the stomach.